आप कौन हैं?
अब सो किया एचपी तो ठीक है 5000 से आसपास 5000 आ गया हो गया। हाँ ये 60,000 पहुँच गया वही क्या होगा 9,000 पहुँच गया हो गया कुल तीनों। चलिए बढ़िया। आप अंदर को जाइए, अंदर जाइए, चलिए रुक जाइए।
चमन सारा श्रीमान जो आए हैं, मगर पल तो नहीं लेकिन हम पल के बिछाए हैं, मगर पल तो नहीं।
काम कर रहा है।
थोड़ा पीछे आ जाइए।
इस साइड से
चलिए वो साइड से
आइए और पीछे इधर पीछे साइड आइए
पीछे आ जा, इधर हटिए।
आप पीछे आ जाइए। अरे विभाग है तो वो एकदम वहीं ना चलिए।
सामने से
चलिए आइए आइए।
वो बंद हो गया। डेफर्ड लाइफ यार सेंसे
मैं इतने लोगों का फॉलो करता हूँ, आई डोंट हैव एनी फॉलोअर्स।
बड़े रहस्य की बात है।
फ्रूट काट सकता हूँ, वीडियोस नहीं।
The mind is the obstacle, not the path. Easy है।
Up your social game with on-trend video templates for every platform. Canva, दिल से डिजाइन तक।
अब वो मॉस्क तोड़ के उसको टेम्पल को रीबिल्ड करोगे, कितने रीबिल्ड करोगे?
जितने हो सके।
It could be Hindus who don't want any more bloodshed.
Why do they expect bloodshed? Who are they expecting it from? Why don't they answer that question?
Because when somebody makes a claim कि इसको तोड़ो फिर से
तो
बनाओ,
अब जवाब दो भाई कोर्ट में हमें, मतलब you prove us wrong in court, evidence for evidence, evidence के जवाब में तलवार क्यों उठ रहा है भाई यहाँ पे?
but what if the Muslim community turns around and say कि तुमने यहाँ पे रेल भवन बनाया, रेल भवन के नीचे हमारा मदरसा हुआ करता था, ये
ठीक है, उसके नीचे क्या हुआ करता था ये भी देख लेते हैं।
What is happening with regard to Sambhal, places of worship, act, waqf, sense of anxiety that are we heading into a period of social unrest?
If a lawful legal proceeding and action is brought to a grinding halt under the fear of stone pelting, what does it say about your aspirations of becoming a Vishwaguru? I don't understand the constant chest thumping about Hindutva and Bharat without having the courage to actually reclaim
the spirit of Bharat.
Aren't the mosques also spirit of Bharat?
I agree, but as long as they are not on occupied sites.
Talapati Vijay, how do you see his rise?
After Kamal Hassan's failure, he may have been somebody's plan B.
Asaduddin Owaisi, his politics.
He knows how to present his position, which is favorable to his community, within the four corners of the constitution. That is always a tough game to play, and he does it reasonably well.
Namaste Jai Hind, you're watching or listening to another edition of the ANI podcast with Smita Prakash. In the studio with me today is J. Sai Deepak, who's appeared twice on the podcast before. But today the conversation will mainly center around the Supreme Court order on the Places of Worship Act 1991. The Supreme Court has recently barred civil courts across the country from registering fresh suits challenging the ownership and title of any place of worship, and from ordering surveys of disputed religious places until further orders. Now, junior courts cannot order a survey or seek a report from the Archaeological Survey of India, as have been done in several recent instances. In May 2022, after the Babri Mosque Ram Janmabhoomi case reached the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud, orally observed that a survey may not necessarily fall foul of the Places of Worship Act. And then, between 2022 and 2024, at least 6 suits were filed claiming past existence of a Hindu temple at the site of a mosque or dargah. Surveys were ordered in 3 of these cases. With the latest Supreme Court ruling, let's get a clearer picture of what is the way forward for those fighting for pre-existing temples. Over to J. Sai Deepak. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
We've had you before on the show.
Twice.
Right. So I think one was on your book.
Yes, ma'am.
When it had come, and the second one was probably
Sanatana Dharma statement of Udayanidhi.
Sanatana Dharma,
September.
and also I think elections coming up and that happening. So this time I thought of you, and I wanted to talk about the constitutional debate that was happening in Parliament. So much happening and things. I wanted to talk about that because that is also your forte. But what is disturbing a lot of people, especially youngsters, is about what is happening with regard to Sambhal, Places of Worship Act, Waqf, all this coming up, and a sense of anxiety that are we heading into a period of social unrest?
I think your audience deserves honesty. Therefore, let me, for the benefit of their consumption, disclose the fact that I represent the Kashi royal family in the proceedings there. So obviously, I've chosen a side. And considering the fact that the matter is sub judice, I'll keep my comments tempered on the subject. But nevertheless, what already exists in public domain through my articles and speeches, I think I can speak on that. So the optics of it, or the social unrest part of it, if a court order of a survey incites violence or results in unprovoked violence, or the court order itself is seen as a provocation, then there is a problem in the manner in which the Indian state's exclusive claim over the monopoly of violence or force has been challenged. You can't even enforce a court order. And 2, if a lawful legal proceeding and action is brought to a grinding halt under the fear of stone pelting, what does it say about your aspirations of becoming a Vishwaguru?
Okay.
What exactly are you projecting by way of strength? If you can't project strength internally, don't hope for others to take you seriously outside. 3, the action, in my limited submission, since the matter is sub judice, is perfectly legal. And I said as much in court. So let's see how it plays out. I'll keep my powder dry for the court. Without getting into the legality of it, I believe it is legal. There are articles to this effect that I've written. But I think constitutional institutions
owe their allegiance to the law, to the constitution, and they should simply ask themselves whether these proceedings must be held hostage under the shadow or threat of violence. I hope they won't be. And 2, what does it do to the rights of all those parties who have a right under the law to initiate these proceedings?